Hi everyone, Emma here. I usually start my videos by saying, I'm so excited. And I was like, oh my god, that sounds so corny. But guess what? I'm so excited. I love beading. I just can't. It just makes me so happy. So let me talk to you. I have been talking about doing a herringbone series because I started out with herringbone and I just, I didn't like how there was so much space in between the beads. I wanted them to fit like side by side perfectly. That's the OCD in me. So anyway, I was looking at them again and I was like, let me see what I could do with herringbone and fall in love with it. And guess what? I've totally fallen in love with herringbone. Now my problem is I have done the very basic designs way up into tubular designs, and the problem I have is to do the video series for you. Now most of you have probably done herringbone, so it wouldn't be a jump to go right to some of the more difficult stuff, but I thought for some of the new beaters that maybe have them fall in love with herringbone from the very beginning. So I started with a very basic design. So let me just talk about the supplies. I am using 8O seed beads, and the reason being I really enjoy doing the 11s. It's so like really petite and delicate, but for starting out I think the 8O is amazing and it looks awesome. So even doing 8O stuff, I'm like, oh, I need to get some more 8Os because it just looks amazing. So yeah, let's. So I have actually these are most of what I'm using are Tohos, so they're a little more tubular. So this one here, and let me just bring you down. This one here is silver lined milk pomegranate. When I ordered this, I ordered it from Beta Beta, and the pictures for Beta Beta, and I mean it's the same for all bead shops. They're so tiny. Um, I was hoping that it was going to be a lot darker than this. They kind of look like a pomegranate seed, but they're a little more pinky than they are red, like juicy red. So anyway, we're going to use those. We're going to do this design here. So I thought, why not start our herringbone with, rather than just one straight color or one pattern, let's add some pizzazz to it. so so this one was my first. This kind of reminds me of a a summery sea kind of color with the turquoise blue and the silver. But for the pattern, I want to try something different. So I have these gold. These are the Rokai beads, so they're very round, and these are the ones I got from Shipwreck. I love them. I keep them in a test tube, massive test tube, and I carry them all over the house. Like I'm obsessed. So those are lovely. So we're going to use those. These here are going to be our middle row. So, and then the red's going to be our outside rows. And I have, these are 11 O's. They look really small. 11 O's to do. We're going to do a picot around it. Now, most herringbone is done with one bead on the edge to conceal the thread. And initially I didn't like the way that looked because you could see a bit of the thread. But actually, when you start doing, say, with delicas and stuff like that, it looks beautiful. So we're going to do all of these different designs. And yeah, so let's put this one over here and let's get started. So to get started, you have to do a ladder stitch. And I've done a lot of research and I was looking for a different way to start flat peyote, flat herringbone. So if you found that doesn't involve ladder stitch, if you found that, let me know. I think there is a technique where you put the beads in and then it's a starter kind of thing. So you take all of those out and then move straight up to your herringbone. Um, Yeah, if you come across a video, let me know. So we're gonna start. Yeah, we're gonna start and do a outline here that would go with your class. So let me just discuss one quick thing. So you determine how many rows you're going to make. So one row involves 2 beads. So they call those rows ladders, and they do look like ladders going up. So there's 1 ladder, 2 ladders, 3 ladders. So that's what I decided to do so that I could outline, have the middle separate. But a lot of patterns tend to go in 2, so you'll have 2 of one color, 2 of another color, 2 of another color of the ladders. So that's a little bit probably TMI. So, okay, so we'll start out with 4. I have a size 10 needle because I'm using all big beads, and you don't need a stop bead. I'm using dragon thread size 6. Let me know if there's a different thread that you like to use for herringbone. I'm really interested because I feel like this uses a lot of thread, and the dragon thread's a bit stiff for the herringbone. So I wonder if there's something that's durable that's going to hold everything together. So just pull it down. You're going to leave yourself enough of a tail that you can add your clasp on with or just weave in. I prefer to put a separate strand for my clasp, so I'm just gonna leave it short. So there's what you have. Let me adjust this a bit and enlarge this and make sure the lighting, there we go. Nice. So you have your 4 on. You're going to go back up through the bottom of your first 2 and pull it through, and they sit side by side. And there's your first set, like that. So now you're coming out of here, you're going to go back down here just to secure everything. And I'm holding on to my thread with my fingers in my palm. So now we're going to add 2 more. Coming out of the bottom, we're going to go around to the top. And I just hang on to the bead and let them flip over here so that they're right next to it. So now we're going to go up through the bottom of those and pull it tight, just like that, and pick up 2. And there is tons of videos on herringbone, and even the more complex and really interesting designs in different places like Potomac beads. I saw Off the Beaten Path had a bunch of really intricate ones. It's just endless. You just do a search. So we have 4. We're going to need 2 more. That will give us our 3 ladders. Like that. So there's 1, 2. That's 1 ladder. 1, 2, another ladder. 1, and we need 1 more for our 3rd ladder. Coming out of there, we're going to go into the bottom. And I'm going to go down through these guys to make them nice and secure. Just like that. So now we need to start adding our herringbone here. We're still going to work on this piece here that's going to attach to our clasp. So we're going to put 2 rows of herringbone there. Now, to do that, I don't want to have any, I want it to be separate. So I don't want any picot beads here. So there is a technique to avoid putting your picot beads. So normally for herringbone, your thread would be coming out of this bead. You would go up through this bead. you would add a bead onto your cord so that it would partially conceal your thread. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to the other way at the bottom, and we're just going to go through this bottom bead here, pull that through, and then slide our thread over to where we want to go up through this bead here. And if you're doing herringbone and you do this maneuver, it will straighten out the bead so that it doesn't have that V look. So just be aware of that. If that's something you want, then you might have to do your picot. So now we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to pick up 2 gold beads, 8 O's. We are going to go down through the next one. Get my scissors out of the way, like that. So you can see they're starting to sit in a V. So now we're coming out of this bead. We're going to go up through this one. There, like that. I'm going to tilt my camera a little bit more so that I'm not reaching. So that's what it looks like. Pick up 2 more gold 8O beads. We're coming out of this bead. We're going to go into this one. And just that one. The top one, like that. I put less thread on this time for the video. Clearly it's not working. So we're coming out of this one. We're going to go up through this one here. Like that. So there's your thread. I don't know what oh, my thread's just, sometimes the thread gets a little bit kinked, almost like there's a knot in it. Maybe pull that tight. See if my nail can, there. It was a knot. It just gets kinked, I think. Okay, so our last 2 on this section here. So pick up 2. We're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go down through this bead here. Down this way. And pull through. Okay. And you kind of have to nudge them into place. Now, the way that I found, surprisingly, when you're nudging it, what works better is nudge the one that's not out of place. So if you flip this one, it tends to flip the other one in place. But we'll see when we flip it around here. And here's the other thing, when you're pulling on your thread, try to pull down rather than out, because you'll see these beads will actually pull away from your bead. So now we're going to turn it. So like I said, this would be the point where you take your thread and needle, pick up a bead, and go through here. But we don't want to do that. We want one more row here, and then we'll start. So instead, we're going to take this thread and we're going to go to the very next one over in the same line, like that. And I just hold on to it so they don't get loose. And that's on the other bead here. There we go. So pull that like that. Just gonna tilt that over. So now our thread is coming out of this bead here. We're going to move over and go up this one. And when you pull it, the thread will kind of hide between the 2. So one more row. We're ready. Pick up 2 beads of the 8O. We're coming out of this one. We're going to go in this one. Now at this point you can see there is some herringbone shape taking place here. So if you want, you can actually bring your needle through the next 2 beads, because normally what you would do is go down this one, then up this one. You can do it in one step. I know some people are purists and say, you should do them separately, and the reason being is those beads will become like loose. But if you do it enough, they won't be loose. So we cheated. Don't be a cheater. So I'll pick up 2. Let's do it the good way. The way the teacher taught you how to do it. So we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go into this one here and down like that. There. That doesn't look like it went down. I must have missed it. I just went around the cord is all I did. So that happens. Look at your work too, because there's times I'll get going and I'll look back and I'm like, how did that bead get there? Like, how did I miss that? So I always say inspect your work. So we're going to go through this one. And put those guys down, pull it tight. The other thing I found without a lot of trying is that my tension got better. So hang in there. Don't feel like you can't get this because your tension and your beads are loose. Don't worry about it. It will get better. I always suggest start on something really simple, maybe with some beads that you're not particularly fond of, and then you don't worry if you don't like you make a mess of it. It's not a big deal. But I'll tell you what happens is, first of all, I always end up falling in love with those cast off beads that I thought were ugly. And I cannot give away my first bracelet of any design. It's like there's something special. It's like, I learned how to do this. I'm so excited. Isn't it pretty? It's the ugly duckling. So we'll get this last row in and we'll start our, so there, that's what I'm starting with. So that's super easy. And here's the thing, you can start your picot at this point, or you can wait till you get to the other piece. I'll show you on this one. I think we'll wait till we get to the other piece. So on this one, I actually started below, but on this side I didn't. So let's try it on top. But what will happen is one side will not have a picot, but you can always go back and put one. I've done that. So let's flip this over, and we already flipped it. We're going to do our cheating way here. So your thread's coming out of here. Instead of going up through here, we're going to go up through this one like that. And then over to the edge here like that. And we're ready to get started. So you see how it kind of tucked it in and changed the V. So let's pick up 2 pomegranate ones. These are 8/0s. So we're coming out of here. We're going to go through this one. Then our next row is going to be gold. So we're going to pick up 2 gold. Like that. We're going to, oh, we have to put our thread through. So our thread's coming out of the bottom here. We have to come up to get our next set of beads on. So pick up 2 gold, come down through this way, and put those in position. Pick up 2 pomegranates. We have to go through our bead first. I'm so used to doing the shortcut that I'm not thinking here. So Halloween for me meant a pomegranate. And you think, what are you talking about? My mom used to buy us a pomegranate. Now, we lived in Toronto, so we had access to a lot of exotic fruit. There was a lot of like cultural grocery stores with fruit markets and stuff like that. So, of course, the season for the pomegranates were the fall. Okay, so now we're going to put a picot. So we can start our picot now. So you're going to pick up 3 11/0s like that. We're coming out of this one. We're going to go through here. So yeah, my mom used to buy us a pomegranate for Halloween. And so we'll pick up 2 pomegranate. We're coming out of here. We're going to go through here. And I think we're going to do it all in one step like that. Pull that through and get those guys sitting correctly. Then pick up 2 gold. So yeah, I used to love it. We used to like peel the pomegranate and pick out the seeds. So it was like, I don't know what you would call that, fast food or snack food or whatever, like when you can hold it in your hand and eat it at the same time. So, yeah, we'd be, walking down the street or in the schoolyard with our pomegranate. And it would, because it took a while to peel and pick out all the seeds, we would have it over days. So we would take them and put them back in the fridge. And yeah, me and my sister Sylvia, we loved it. So we're going to put 2 there, and I'm just going to turn this, make it easier to show you where we're going next. Like that. Now we're going to pick up and put our picot on. So pick up. These don't look like 11s to me. I think they're in the wrong container. They look like 15s. Yeah, these have got to be 15s. This was the container. And then it says 11/0. But that doesn't mean anything. I could have. Normally, if I put something else in a container, I take the label off so that it's not confusing. Like now. One time, we were out with my mom and we stopped at one of these Italian fruit markets in town. So we're going to do our pomegranate color, and we're going to go down through the pomegranate and then up through the next one. So she bought some stuff, and this is when kiwi first came out. So my mom was like, I think of it now, if she was still alive today, I would call her a foodie. She was open to trying anything, and then she would, develop desserts or recipes with it. So now we have our gold. We're going to go through the gold and up through the pomegranate. So anyway, we're waiting. She's got her stuff in a paper bag, and we're waiting at the streetcar stop for the streetcar. We were going to some other places, and she pulls a kiwi out, and me and my sister are looking at each other. And I don't know if we knew about kiwis before she did, but anyway, she picked it up like it was an apple and took a big bite out of it, and then she's like spitting it out because it was all furry. We're like, I think you're supposed to peel it, Mom. Oh God, we were cracking up laughing. We would embarrass her all the time when we went out, and she never gave us a hard time. So we're gonna pick up our 11/0s. And we're going to do our picot. So we're coming out of this one here. We're going to go through this one. We'll do a few more rows and see where that takes us. Do some pomegranate. And then she used to buy us pumpkins for Halloween, and we decorate them. And what else did she? Oh, she used to buy us coconuts. And I didn't realize, right up until now, I didn't realize you could actually open your coconut by cracking it with a knife. I was going into the basement, grab the hammer, and smash it with the hammer, and then it would fly all over the place, and I'd pick up the pieces and go, coconut. Oh my gosh. So I'm just going to continue. So we got our gold, and we're going to go through the next row or ladder. And pick up 2 pomegranate 8/0s. I'm just going to flip this as I'm pulling it through. This is looking really nice. Now, this will, you can see that it's a bit separated here. This will actually line up a bit better. There, tightened it a bit, yeah, by pulling on this. But also once we get to the next row, it will create another strand in there. So let's pick up our nose. Like that. I will check these. I'm still kind of skeptical that they're 11/0s. So they might have been in the wrong container. So I'll check and I'll put what it is in the description. So let's go 2 pomegranate through the gold, setting up for the next one. You know what else we used to do is my mom used to buy us pineapples, like a whole pineapple. And we would take it to school and we would cut it up and serve it to our classmates. And like the teacher would let us and stuff like that. It was interesting. I can't see them doing that now without pre-approval and all this other stuff. We would just show up. We have okay, we'll get you a knife and a plate. Yeah, so I think that was when we were in grade 5. So I'm thinking teachers handing us a really sharp knife and letting us chop up a pineapple. Oh, the things we did, our generation. Nobody was paying attention to our safety. Throwing us into cars without seatbelts. We used to have my dad, he would turn a corner and we'd all slide to one side. So we'd say, do it again, Daddy. As he's, pulling donuts on the road. Yeah, so different now. I'm sure kids got hurt. And I'm sure there was parents said, oh, suck it up. It's not that bad. I had that happen to me. I was being a bad girl. I went to Brownies with my sister Sylvia, and we stopped at this old abandoned house, and there was broken pop bottles. So we were throwing the broken pop bottles against the wall, like the brick part of the house. And one of the bottles I picked up, it was the bottom of the bottle, and this part here was gone, so it was all open and glass. But I held it the other way, so when I threw it, it sliced my hand across. So of course I get home and it's all my older brothers and sisters, and I'm like, yeah, I cut myself, look. And by then it was still bleeding like a lot. And they're like, oh, just put it under cold water in the sink. So after half an hour of cold water under the sink, it finally stopped bleeding. Yep. I cannot believe the stuff we did when we were kids. And I don't know why I didn't know that we shouldn't have been doing those things. But I found growing up in Toronto, and there's somebody else in subscriber that mentioned this when I mentioned it before about growing up in Toronto. And she said, yeah, she grew up. Oh, no, I know what it is. She's in New York. So she was saying yes, or the Bronx. She said, I totally know what you're talking about. Kids being unsupervised at, that generation. And that's what it was like. You're in the big city, nothing's going to happen to you. Yeah. So this is coming along. So I thought I'd show you the start of this, and then we'll work on the other one to see. And I didn't think that through because I don't have the supplies. So let me see if they're on my other desk. Because what I would like to do is show you this part here on this side. So it's basically herringbone till you get to the one end, and then you tie it off and then put a clasp on. And I don't even know what clasp I'm going to put on. I'm going to grab... Oops. So I have the silver beads, and these are the 11 O's. So I'm just looking to see how close they are in size to this one. Just so we can determine whether they are. You know what? I think they are. Yeah, they're pretty. So these I know are 11 O's. So that's what those are. So I apologize if there was any confusion there. So we don't need these. We might need one on this side. Let's put out 3. Okay. And let's get some of these guys. That's probably going to be enough. And let's see. I saw a bunch of different designs for a clasp on this, but let me see what we can put on there. So we have these guys, and there's a bunch of different ones. So you could put, let me see, these are nice. I don't know, they don't look like they, you know what, if we added beads, that could work. So let's hang on to that one. I do have a longer one. That actually fits exactly. Yeah, let's do this one, the longer one. Okay. So this one's ready to go with this. Oh, I thought it had a needle on it. Let's grab this needle here. And don't forget to move your thread around your needle. I do find that this dragon thread gets really damaged if you keep it in the same spot all the time. Okay. So let's pick this up. And these are so beautiful. Okay, I was like, why is it coming out of there? It's because this is the bottom side. Cha. So we'll move our thread around. Actually, what we should do is move our thread down and over to this side so that we can add this picot. Oh, maybe. So I'm just gonna, it's coming out of here, so I'm gonna go down 2. Yeah, I'm gonna go down 2. And then I'm gonna go up 2, like over to the next row, like that. Then down 2. Like that. And then up 2. So it's almost as if you were doing the herringbone of the top row. So then, actually I think we need to, we want to be going down this one here. Okay, so let's go down here. Okay, when we go over, we're going to come up through this one. I'm just looking at this. I actually, let me try this here. And then come down this one, like this. And then we'll add our picot. I'm just going to turn it just to make it easier to handle here. There. So now we're going to add our picot that's missing. Pick up 3 11/0s. There's a bead missing there. There should be 2 beads here. Duh. Yeah, I didn't think this one through. So let's we should have added when we went from that side. Let's go back here. And go down to, and then, okay, so we're going to go down to, now here we would normally add a picot, but there's already a picot there. You can add one, but the beads will start to jam up there. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like we did on the other side, where we turned it, went over to the one side, so that this, there's a cat hair, this row is going to be nothing there. So now we're going to go up through this one here. Just like that. So now we're going to just do as if we have herringbone. So coming out of here, we're going to go into this one. And we can actually go up into the silver as well. And we're just going to do silver beads all the way across. Like that. Pick up 2. Go across those 2 beads. And get them in the right position. Put that one over. Pick up 2. And go through this one. And I'm just going to turn it and get those guys in position. Pull it tight. There. So now we need to get back up without putting a picot there. So we're going to go over to this bead from the bottom, like that. Pull through. And then go over to this one here. Like that. Pick up 2. Go through. Go down through that one and up through the other, like that. And tight. Pick up 2. I probably tighten that too much. And go through. You're going to do this till you have 4 rows. Same as the other side. So, go through. I'm going to turn this around. And pop that one down there. So again, we're going to cross over to the bead. So we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go in through the bottom of this one. I'm just going to hold on to it so it doesn't loosen. Just that one there, like that. that one down, and there, like that. And then bring your thread over. It's coming out of this middle one here. You're going to go over and up through the bottom of that top bead that's on the side, like that. Do that again. And down through this one, up through that one. That there. Pick up 2, go down through, and I'm going to turn this around. Okay, just flip that. There we go. So now we have to go do the same kind of maneuver where we go to the next bead up through the bottom of it. Just avoid the picots. And then bring it over to the first bead and up through the bottom of it. And this is our last row. Down through this one, up through the next one. Pick up 2. You're coming out of here. We're going to go down through the next one and up through the next ladder. And last beads. Come through here. And just position those. So now, as you can see, there's a space here and there. There should be a thread going from bead to bead, so we're going to attach them right now. So I'm going to bring my thread, it's down over here, I'm going to bring it up through this one, like that. Just pull it tight, not tight, and then go down through the next ladder. That. And it should pull it together, then go. So you're down here, you're going to go to the next one, you're going to go up through that one. There, like that. And you're going to cross over to the next bead, but you're going to go down through that one, like that. This ending row, you can do it a bunch of ways too, like you don't have to do it exactly this way. You can, where are we now? So we're coming out of this one here. We're going to go up both beads on the end, like that. And now we can go up and down the top bead, because you can see there's a little space there too, which there isn't on this one. But that's because we did a ladder stitch with it. But we want it to be nice and closed up. So we'll just go through this one, up through the next one, down through the next one, and up through the next one, and down through the next one, like that. Now we're ready to add our clasp. So let me check. You know what, I think this is just a little too closed up. Let's open it. I don't want to have to you know, do any damage to the, I'm just kind of wedging my thing. That's probably, oh, it looks like it's still closed. Yeah, it's getting stuck there. Okay, so let's see if we can open that some more. There, let's do it this way. There, I think that did it. That looks a little better. Make sure it's not sharp. But it's still, yeah, it's really snug here. It does not want to change its shape at all. Let's see if that did anything. We might have to grab another one. That looks, oh yeah, that one's fine now. Okay. Little distraction there. So I like to cover these holes, but it requires a lot of beadwork. So I think what we need to do is we're gonna, since there's 3 of them, 3 loops and 3 ladders, what we should do is add some beads around and attach it that way. So I want to get my thread, it's coming out of here. I want it coming up through one of the beads. So I'm just going to go to the very next bead and we'll just pull that tight and then add. You could also add French wire here at this point. So that's always an option. Now, which beads do we? I feel like the bigger beads would probably do better. Why don't we do 2 on each end? So we'll go through the first hole. I've added 2. I'm going to add 2 more. Pull everything through. Like that. Oh yeah. And then go down through this one here. And you can actually go down a bit further to secure your thread so that it's not just pulling on the top row. So that's what I tend to do is I will alternate the rows for however many times I go through. So now I'm going back through those first 2 beads and you can see the thread's loose, but we're going to pull that once we pull this. Flip it that way here. That's all there. Like that. Go through your loop and then go down the other 2. Go down to the 3 because then we're going to move over to the other hole, the other ladder. So we're coming out of here. We're going to go up through this one, down through this one, and we're going to do the same as what we did. So we're going to go up through this one and just that one there, like that. And then down through this one. And then up through the next one in the middle ladder, like that. So now we're going to add 2 8/0s on the one side and go through the hole in the middle. And then add 2 on the other side. And then I'm just going to bring my needle under here and go down through this first bead here. Just make sure it's nice and snug. And then we're coming out of this bead on the bottom. We're going to go up through the bottom of the second one, and we can actually go through the loop at the same time. Just bring your loop there. Yeah, and then we'll go through these bottom beads. And they are kind of loose, but they'll tighten when we tighten it. And let me bring my needle through here. So let's go through, pull that down. So we're going to go down through this bead here. So that's where we had started. And there's our 2 strands on. So we're coming out of this bead. We're going to go up through this one and just that one this time, like that. And then we're going to go down. I'm going to move my thread. So now we're coming up through this one. We're going to go down through this one, like that. There. And then up through the last bead. That. And pick up 2 8/0s. Go through the loop. Pick up 2 8/0s. I'm going to come in through the back and go down this bead here where my nail is, like that. That will complete our loop on this side, there, like that. So this is kind of neat. It actually kind of mirrors the herringbone, so it almost looks like it's part of the bracelet, which is what I strive for when I'm doing my clasps. And sadly, sometimes you're tired or whatever, you don't have the clasp available to you to really make it add to it. So I'm just flipping it over so I can see where my beads are. I'm going to go through those 2, and I'm going to go through my bottom one here. That one there that we started with. Pull through, and that is twice around each one of those, so that should be really secure. So now let's go ahead and tie off. Just looking, you can really see the thread here. I guess that's where I ended. And let's see if we can get that to go back so that you can't see it. I'm going to go through this bead here, and I'm going to go up through this one. See if I can get my thread, my needle over that thread so that I can hide it behind. It doesn't want to. Let me see if I go this way. Let's see if I can push it down. Just going to go through here, and this is just kind of going up and down to hide that bunch of thread there. And let's loosen those guys so they're flat, like that. And I'm going to go down away from this area and then make a knot. There. Okay. And I'm just going to grab a thread, get my needle under the thread, and twist 2 knots around that, pull my needle out while I'm holding that knot. Otherwise, if you don't, the knot will just come right out. Like, it's coming out a bit, but what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the next bead and then go up, and it'll hide it in the beads. And that is it. So let's cut this off. Okay. That is awesome. So this is what it will look like. So you can see like it kind of fits the diameter here, the length. So we can go ahead and do the other side. I think I might leave it for now. This is enough to show you how to attach, and hopefully you can start playing with herringbone and get excited about it again, or get started on something new. So there you go. That's my design. I have so many more, so hang in there and I'm going to show you what kind of crazy fun I'm up to. So take care, everybody. Thank you all for your support, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.